All right, guys, we're back. She came. Cait's crew.
Finally made it.
I know. Is your last name Crew?
No.
Is it Silk?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one. To give the audience a little bit of background, Cait owns one of the biggest serving companies in the tri-state area for anybody who has a serving need out in
really
Jersey.
Nice.
Yeah, I got to give my guests a really good intro. You know what I mean? So I actually, we've talked in the past about, kind of how you got into the industry, but you never actually gave me the story on how it really elevated to where it is now, because everybody uses you out here. How did it kind of get to that level?
Well, if I'm being honest, I used to work for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I, in a lot of ways, well, one, I was always a server most of my life. I was always in the customer service industry, I would say. And I worked for somebody else. I didn't really appreciate how the business was running.
Mm.
That's all I can really say without going into too much detail.
I feel like maybe just a tad bit more detail. You know what I mean? Without maybe blowing it up.
So I guess I could start with how I run my business. Let's do that first, because then I could say what I felt wasn't appropriate. I don't hire anybody I don't know. If it's somebody I don't know, in some sense, it was a referral from somebody else. So I always have some sort of relationship with the people that are going to these houses.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, that's someone's safety.
Yeah, exactly.
And I take it very seriously in that sense. So
it's like when I pull up to people's houses, they think I'm taking their hubcaps.
Well, they 100% think you just got out of jail.
Right, and I'm stealing catalog converters.
Yeah.
And keys.
But you're not, so that's
I'm
great.
not. Yeah, when I speak the words, the person that is
Yeah. Your image does not
exactly.
does not match.
I've met a lot of your staff members through the industry, and they're actually really great human beings. You do a really good job hiring.
Thank you. My background's in psychology, so a lot of my staff is either somebody I've, teachers, people I've met.
Right, you have a career. You have a full-time job. This is just a side thing that you do. So what do you exactly do? I'm
currently a clinical specialist for a mental health program. So I work with adults with severe mental illness, and I'm a college professor. So.
What would you say is some of the tips that you give these adults that are going through some mental health things? I feel like the audience would love to hear that. Because the past few episodes kind of been gearing in that direction, and we got some really nice messages from people that I think were helping. So
I would say it's difficult because when it comes to psychology, it's very specific to each person's situation from a clinical standpoint. I think that, and what I've experienced in my own life is the resilience side of it.
Yeah.
And, understanding that you're capable of anything, you just have to want it. I've worked with people that are homeless, that have gone through the worst times in their lives.
Yeah.
But we can continuously give them tools, but they need to want it. And it's in the same sense. When I left, I guess I'll just jump right into it. When I left my abusive relationship, 2021, 3 years ago, I had if you would have told me I would have created a business, I feel like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, but you kind of lifted yourself up to kind of get yourself back to it, instead of kind of folding.
That resilience in somebody, I think you can't teach.
You're kind of born with being resilient. I mean, and also sometimes it takes a major life circumstance for you to elevate from that, because some people just fold forever. I know plenty of people that have just been mentally ill their entire lives. They never make adjustments.
Right.
And I kind of brought up some other adjustments that you can make on other episodes, but what is something that you've kind of done? You just kind of buried yourself into work. I see you have your dog, and maybe she helps you out a lot.
Yeah.
I kind of advocate for everybody to get a dog.
Yeah,
that helps. Yeah.
That might be the
exactly
number one thing that's helped.
I feel like psychiatry would just be solved and nobody would have mental health problems if they just had a dog.
I mean, I think we just cracked the code. But
we did. It's gonna blow
that's
up.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
We did good. Yeah, I feel like Freud.
Yeah. Freud was weird.
He was. He had that whole thing. Tony Soprano always brought it up, that with the mother thing, right?
Yeah, weird shit.
Yeah.
So let's pick another.
I don't know. I can't.
Anybody
think
else
of one right
before?
I can't think of one. Right
but I would say my dog. And I don't. It's weird. I advocate throwing yourself into work, But at the same time, you need a balance because I've not figured that out yet.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, what you do with the serving thing is you're kind of at a party.
Yes.
So, like, that's kind of like your night out. So, it's always like a balance, you're like, you're hanging out the majority of the time.
Yeah.
So that's
I would say running a business, though, from the outside, it's really fun to do, but it can be a lot of work in that sense. I would say that it's...
Well, you're always on the phone.
Yes.
Staffing. And you have no assistants?
I have, my mom will help me. I have staff that will help me. What I need to work on is probably releasing that part of it, because I built it from the ground up.
And you feel like you're going to lose control if you kind of let it, like, that side of the business
It's like
go.
my baby.
And you're always going to kind of intervene when somebody does things like the minute you don't like it. So you might as well just...
Well, it's my name. It's my name. And I think that's where I find it. And I think anyone should feel this way about their business. It's your name.
And it's growing, right? It's not like it's been stagnating. I always see you kind of at different events. Like, how many do you usually average a weekend?
Last weekend for 4th of July, I had 10.
That's a lot. And that's stressful.
Memorial Day weekend, I had 12. And it is, but that feeling after the weekend is like the best feeling to know that.
Well, your self-worth goes up because you accomplish something. I always have like a full weekend of work after I'm done with my career shit during the week. And then on Monday, I'm like, oh, all right, like I'm hustling.
Like I would get so nervous and anxious about it that I'm not going to be able to staff it. And I always staff it.
Yeah.
And I'm always able to do it. And to be able to do that is just like, I don't know, it does help with self-worth, I will say.
Yeah, what else do you usually do to kind of get yourself level-headed?
Exercise, I hate to say
it's a big one. It's a big one. It really is. Like, you're
releasing
all those negative endorphins, you have to do it. Like, the one day I don't go, I'm messed up.
I know, I woke up late today, I didn't have time before work, and I was like...
So now you came to this podcast all fucked up.
No, I'm good, actually. I'm good. But yeah, it's... exercise. I know nobody wants to hear that really sometimes because you're like, you have to force yourself to do it.
I mean, sometimes like, the simplest ways kind of sound cliche, but they actually do work. It's not always going to work. You're always going to kind of have a bad day. It's just the way that things go in life. But, exercise, putting your work hard at something that you believe in. I mean, just simple things in life, but there has to be more to it. Like, I said it on the past couple episodes too when I was talking to Mila. She's the energy healer. The second episode, she said, "Wake up and say what you're blessed for." And believe it or not, shit like that.
No, that
works.
And writing down what you're thankful for.
That I haven't done, but I could.
It's good. Putting it to paper is, I think.
Did you ever have the period of like just kind of separating yourself from anybody and everybody and just kind of rocking out like alone-ish? Did you ever have that period?
Meaning.
Not completely alone, but like you just had you to kind of lift yourself up. You didn't have anybody to lean on, in other words.
I think I've had people to support me, but I've always had to figure things out myself. So isolating, I would say, I did a lot of the time. Not that I isolate on purpose, but I think like being alone is super important.
That's what I'm at in life right now, and it's actually not completely alone. Like I still have people around me, but like everybody's kind of...
I will say, I think being alone, like relationship-wise, does help.
It's an important time.
It's extremely
especially
important.
when you get out of a relationship.
Yes.
Most people, what they do is like they feel so empty because their dopamine's all fucked up.
Yes.
And then immediately jump into something else. But that's a disservice to the next person that you...
we're all guilty of that. You know what I mean?
Because you're trying to fill in the spaces, but it's extremely unhealthy. And like, that relationship inevitably is going to fail if you don't take that time to really find out, like, all right, like you need that time period to figure out exactly what you want, what you need.
And you don't know what your triggers are. You don't know what your...
Like, you know what you don't want, but like then the next person comes along and it's like, oh, I don't like that either. And then it just snowballs.
And then the issue is if you don't figure out what's going on inside you, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
You have to soul search. You have to figure out...
Or the trauma things that you've gone through in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just going to continuously pick the same person over and over again.
And then when you first start dating them, it's like you're going to be all happy and shit, and then life kind of sets in like 6
you're
months
like,
to a year later. It's like, wait, this wasn't you? It's like, oh shit,
really like
that was
you.
bad qualities are sticking in. That's why I advocate like dating for like a year. It's just like, just dating. Just see each other, don't make it complicated, this and that.
That's a long time, Chris.
Like a year, a little bit.
Just date.
Like, 6 months to a year. And then you actually get to see that person up front. Go on vacation with them. have them stay over a couple times a week without putting that official label on it, because you need to see what the bad side of that person. We all have a bad side, and we all have flaws, and some people can't deal with those flaws, and you don't want to set yourself up for heartbreak like a year later, because then you're just all fucked up.
But I think until you like actually get into that relationship, you don't know whether somebody is
but not right not like a couple of weeks or like after the fact,
Oh, well, yeah.
Like you have to take like a little bit of time.
I think as
I know
adults,
so many people that like just jump from one thing to another, and I was guilty of that for a long time.
I did that for a long time.
Because you don't want to be alone. You're trying to fill in the space, which is a horrible mistake to make, because there's clearly an empty space within you, and you're going to project that on that person.
And I think you're finding, I know at least, I didn't heal a lot of things within myself before I met my ex.
Yeah.
And I picked somebody that was familiar in a sense, because that's what I knew.
Like had trauma.
Yeah, or like.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you attract what you put out.
Yeah. I 100% believe that. If your self-worth is low, and if you don't want to really work on yourself, because in all reality, I will always take accountability for my actions. I wasn't doing.
I feel like a true narcissist smells that on you, and they kind of like latch onto you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, all right. Like I'm here to like love bomb this person, kind of fix them in a sense. Yeah. But in reality, they don't.
But in some way, I was trying to fix somebody too. Do you know what I mean?
I've always been fixing. I've always been like that. I've always gotten people in like the worst times of their lives, and like just because like if I have like the slightest bit of feelings for somebody, it's like I kind of just jump right in, and I don't care what situation they're in, because I feel like when I get them out of that situation, and I'm sure you feel the same way, that everything's going to be perfect. But it doesn't, because you stop doing things for them. And
it can't be self-fulfilling. Do you know what I mean? You can't like want to do stuff for other.
It's like a toxic, non-toxic trait to do that. You know, because it is you do have good intentions.
Oh yeah, the intentions are good.
Yeah, you want to help somebody, but
it's a little self-fulfilling in a sense.
It is, but then like you're not fulfilling yourself, and then like soon as you start,
you think it will self-fulfill, but it doesn't.
No, because then when you tell that person like, hey, like let's maybe talk about me for fucking 2 seconds. It's gone. No, they snap out, and like you made that a thing, like that was your fault, because you made that the thing, like it's all about that other person.
I would say now that
I'm sure everybody can relate to this.
Yes.
I think like the majority of people who got out of relationships, this is probably the main.
And I would say, I guess now that like when we're talking about the mental health side of it too, when you take accountability for things, that also changes things. You have to look at yourself in the mirror. I agree. It took me a while to do that. Now it's like that's like one of the things that I do often. It's like if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Sorry. Yeah, it's the world's not going to end. No, people are allowed to be wrong, Yeah. And that's exactly like what I've been doing lately. It's like I'm wrong, I apologize, how can we move on from this? Yeah. And I'll say that to the person. Don't fucking text me. Yeah. Don't call me. Don't FaceTime me. It's like I'm going to see you in person, and then usually. Because I think then the energy is you're able to figure it out, as opposed to if someone's like, sorry. Like, you ever have somebody like text you like off the fucking hook, and then you can't tell that person's tone. It's like I can't tell if like you're happy or you want to murder me. Like I've been also told I text just like I don't give a shit. You are the most like you're the Sahara Desert of texting. Yeah, for sure. I'm like, you ready for the podcast tonight, Cait? You're like, yeah, lowercase. I'm like, I've been told that. Yeah. Like, I've been told that I just don't seem interested in the conversation. But you are though. You just have like the biggest RBF of all time. You definitely. I have RBF. Another conversation about my RBF. Because you do. The amount of videos. And then I'll be like, hey, Cait, how you doing? You're like, great. Like your whole face. No, I'm always. Yeah, it just changes. It's just the way our face settles. Yeah, I can't help it. I'm never mad. Just thinking. You're never mad? I mean, not at parties. No, I'm not mad. I'm talking about RBF at parties. Yeah. That's like how we met for the first time. I'm like, you look like you don't want to be. Well, you actually said that I look like I don't like. What did you say? You're like, I like this girl. She looks like she doesn't give a shit or something like that. Yeah. You don't like you didn't care. I love that because like I like real. Like that's the whole. Oh, I'm very like. Just what you see is what you get. I'm the same way. Like I don't lie. I don't fake it. I'm very upfront with people about everything. Like I don't ever lie to people. I also think I would say like the difference in my business from what I feel like when it comes to that is people know I'm genuine. Yeah. And that is something that I pride myself on. Yeah, like you marketed yourself. People like you. Yes. It's not so much the business. People, it's your name, it's your thing. So like who was like your first big client? Because you've been on the New Jersey Housewives.
I don't know if there was any other reality TV news articles that you could mention.
I was filmed on Jersey Shore. I don't know if I'll really be in it.
That was recent?
That was in January for
sick. I didn't know that.
Mia Bella's first birthday and christening. I did kids activities. I may be in the...
Did you wear a clown suit?
No.
Oh.
Can you imagine me doing
that? It'd be a lot cooler if you did. Yeah.
I don't want to be on TV for that reason. Yeah. You imagine me in a clown suit? Wouldn't be great.
No.
Yeah, don't picture it. It's not great.
Trying not to.
Yeah. That and then the Housewives a few times. I think 4 times.
That's huge for businesses. People go nuts over that shit.
It's honestly like it's cool to see. It's a little weird sometimes.
I was on the show. I was on the show too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Camera added about 25 pounds. So it was looking a little hefty.
Yeah, so that's my issue too. I don't love the way it looked.
I know. It's not like you can call Bravo and be like, yo, my man, like, could you please kind of slim me up a little bit?
Yeah, like,
you do it for everybody else.
Who are you?
Be like, Chris Dalton, all right? You know who I am. Stop fucking around.
Who are you? Yeah, so I guess that would be my only complaint. I didn't like the way it looked.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
That's like a huge thing. Like, I think I have like brutal body dysmorphia. It's like, oh, I think...
And I think the camera does...
I think
actually,
I hope
I don't know if that's a rumor.
I was a lot like heavier when I was on the show, you know, so like my belly was like hanging out, I was sweating, there's bacon in front of me.
You were also it was the middle of the summer, wasn't it?
It was when I I was like dropping shit, you know. It was an experience.
I will tell you, I don't think I ever thought I'd be like filming on a show. If you ever told me that, I'd be like, what are you talking about? So
that's kind of like
that's a pretty cool experience.
You made it in a way.
Yeah,
and
like
that was probably, I'm sure it was, you got, how many inquiries did you get like after that appearance?
So I guess the difference to me, and I feel like those that have like filmed, and I think you probably could, you film like a year prior.
Yeah. You do.
So
and you're just
you don't
waiting for it
really
to drop.
see and like I definitely have gotten like inquiries and like I think people take you more seriously in a sense when they see you in some way, like they like, oh wow, she must know what she's doing and you know,
because they think it's like top of the food chain.
Yeah. I've definitely had people like really interested in it or be like introduce me like she's on Housewives, which I'm like, they're like, you didn't say anything. I was like, that's not the first. I'm not like, hey,
It's like, what's your last name? It don't matter. She was on the Housewives.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's like, tell me a little about yourself.
Like,
I don't
that's not
care.
my first thing I say to people.
Yeah. Where were you born? Not Housewives.
Yeah.
People just all
they
want
like,
to hear. Yeah, that's all they want to hear. It's like, wow.
Go to the doctor or something.
Yeah, and they just really want to know like how they are in person. I'm like, great. They're all very nice.
They're really wonderful.
They are nice people.
Yeah. Everybody's
very
been
sweet.
really wonderful. I've really no bad things to say.
No, not at all.
At all. And supportive.
They are. That's
very supportive.
They are. And, you know, that's important, you know, I feel like in that industry. I feel like a lot of the Jersey Shore cast is like that as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a close-knit group in Jersey. I feel like everybody who has a business out here kind of uses each other.
I agree, especially in the event business. It's like it's like a party when you work with your vendors. It's like really nice.
Yeah, because, you know, you're interconnecting in a personal level. Yeah. You know, which is pretty dope. Even when I started this podcast, like a lot of people from out here that I've met have been coming on here and doing it.
Yeah.
You know, which is important.
That's like the best part about it, I think.
Yeah.
Is the network. You have to, and also I don't know about you, but I guess because I'm promoting my business, every event to me is a networking event. That's how I view it.
Well, you're always going to get another client out of that client because it's a 30-person event, you know.
Yeah,
so
or I mean, even you have no idea who you're going to meet.
No. That's like one thing that I've been like realizing. I just keep finding myself in these really interesting situations around all these like big people, and I don't know how I got here. You know, so that's why
it's surreal sometimes.
It is, and like even this has been like a crazy snowball effect. Like I have the whole summer booked already.
You should be very proud of yourself.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been dope.
Well, because you start something and you're like, I don't know, like, well. You know,
I didn't even
second guess
it. I didn't even second guess it. I'm like, all right, like I know how to speak and I could talk to people. You know, what the hell's the difference if there's a camera there or not? This is how we would speak if the camera wasn't here.
Yeah.
And that's the whole basis of this. You ever watch a podcast and it's very scripted? You know, our shit is just kind of like not at all.
That's the best part.
You forget the camera's even there.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost to the point where they have to tell me, they have to give me one of those. You know, there's 5 minutes left. Our amazing producers, Danielle and Amanda.
I love them. They're the best.
They are. They're standing right there.
I know. But yeah, when I think about everything I've done with all of this, and I mean, like, honestly, events have brought me some of my best friends. Like, I will say, like, Amanda and Danielle, like, I wouldn't have...
Chris Dalton.
Yes, Chris, yeah.
See the fucking face.
Yeah.
The RBF. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't understand.
Best friends? Are we best friends?
No. Kinda. Yeah, we're like teetering on the...
So.
Yeah. No, for sure. I get it.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day.
Maybe we'll work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down.
I think it's more me allowing you to be my best friend.
I don't let anybody be my friend.
I know.
I really don't.
I'm actually surprised that we're
I'm such a fucking, like, I'm one of those, like, extrovert introverts.
Yeah.
You know, like, I can be very social if I want to.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't want to be. Like, I'd rather be, like, home and maybe, like, watching TV, you know? Like, a new show.
Yeah.
Like, Shane Gillis Tires. Did you watch it yet?
With my brother, yeah. And
that was a good one, right?
Fucking hysterical.
It was mad good.
Yeah.
When they were trying to make the women feel comfortable in the mechanic shop.
Yeah.
He's like, we should open up a massage parlor. And
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is a really good show.
Did you see his stand-up?
I watched some of it.
When he was talking about, like, Trump with the, when he was making fun of the terrorist, Al-Baghdadi or something like that. You know
no, but I watched him on SNL when he does the blow-up doll one.
Yeah. What was it, the sexual harassment scene? When, like, he's like, not sexual harassment, like, workplace, with, like, you ask a girl on a date at work. And he's like, I don't really want to take her out, but I might want to take her out. And he's like, no, you can't ask anybody out. He's like, hold on. What if I bank that one, and then I ask a year later for it to take her out? You know what I mean? He's the man. He's just so good because he's just so, like, even keeled.
Yeah.
You know, like that's somebody I would hang out with.
Yeah. I think also, like, that sense of humor.
I am dying to meet this man.
Like,
you have no idea.
Dry in a sense, but also just, like, the most ridiculous shit.
Yeah. I feel like that's me, like, super dry.
You are very dry.
Yeah.
I am dry too at times.
But, like, in a funny way.
Yeah.
Maybe. I probably have this wrong perception of myself. People are like, that kid's probably a fucking...
Well, I just fuck with you all the time. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
I know, I can tell. Yeah, I get it.
It's really high.
It's very easy with me to, like, fuck with me, you know?
Well, because I know you won't take things...
Seriously?
Yeah, I just...
No, I always, like, teeter between the lines of, like, flipping a table and throwing it into between, like, haha, that was so funny. You know, like, I'm always...
Wow, what a weird line.
I know, right? Yeah, I have problems. It's alright.
Flipping it.
I'm just kidding. Everything's great. I'm serious. I'm not even joking around. Everything's great. This, like, point in my life, like, I am genuinely happy on a day-to-day basis to get serious. Like, it took me a while to get there. Like, I wake up every day and, like, genuinely, like, every day is good.
I actually said that the other day. My staff was like, how you doing? Like, I'm sure you're stressed out. Like, you're running a business and everything. I was like, actually, I'm really happy. Yeah. Like, I'm stressed. Of course.
But if that stress goes away, then you don't have business. My old boss told me that. I used to be a project manager.
That's actually very true.
You know, he said, I was like, I have more work than I can handle, this and that. He's like, but if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have a job. And I was like, damn, like, you just dropped some shit on me, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Deep.
Like, I remember these little clippets from, like, things that random people told me throughout life, and always, like, it always stuck.
It's actually very true.
You know?
I'd rather be stressed out than...
That's why I like talking to people, because, like, one thing that they say, it's like, for some reason, like, individualized...
Take it with you forever.
Yeah, quotes, you kind of remember them for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're actually... Wow.
That's a good point, right? I know.
You blew me away for a while.
I'm becoming a therapist, I think.
We'll get there.
Yeah. What are your, are you going to maybe take this out of state, Cait's crew? Like, are you going to try to open up, like, a subdivision somewhere else? It's always tough, though, because you're not there.
Yeah, I've thought about it. We go to New York, if, like, PA needs something.
What about Connecticut?
It's in my bio, I'll do it, but I need more staff.
More risk takers?
Need more staff.
I love it out there.
Connecticut?
It's really nice. It's actually really beautiful in Connecticut. And I met some, like, genuinely great people since I've been out there doing events. Like, they've been, like, unbelievable.
Yeah, I need basically staff that I trust, you know what I mean? So it's hard.
Well, what do you usually go there with? Tables, a bar? Like,
if they want that, sometimes it's just,
the person.
Yeah.
So, they tell them to drive to Connecticut. Travel fee. That's it.
But some people don't want to pay that travel fee. You know what I mean?
I don't understand that, like, that whole thing. It's like, people are, like, traveling really far. It's like, you have to pay a travel
And sometimes I will say, like, you can find servers in Connecticut, so...
I would not say that. I'd be like, there is no servers available in Connecticut. I'm the only one in the world, you know?
Well,
Get a handle
I think collaboration.
Because it's a saturated industry, and it always, like, it impresses me when, like, people make it to the top of a saturated industry.
I will say I was a little bit nervous when I started it. I never would have imagined. I'm very proud of myself and what I've built, but it is saturated.
There's a million server companies out there.
So I think that what the difference is, like you said, is me and my staff.
Personal.
Because I don't even want to say me, because it's not just me.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the face, but I would not be anywhere without them. Like,
You want to shout them out? You want to go?
I have like
would they be
10 or 15 of them.
Diana, Richie, Nicholas.
Mom, no.
Has your mom ever worked an event?
Yes, my mom works with me all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Does she wear a Cait Silk smock?
I don't have smocks. I have a shirt.
Do you? We're getting Intentionally Unintelligent shirts made, so I'll give you. I want a Cait Silk.
Okay, fine. I'll get a men's. I'll get a men's one.
Yeah, I don't even know if we ordered like mediums or smalls.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'll get you a Cait Silk shirt.
I would like that.
I should have them anyway, and just have my friends wear them.
Yeah.
For advertising.
Has anybody else contacted you to go on like TV, like the news or anything like that? Has there been any other like big clients coming up?
Not really.
I feel like there is, and you're just forgetting. Does it happen like the week of, like, hey, I want you to come serve in the New Jersey Housewives?
That's the issue too. A lot of the time it can be last minute. Like even I'm trying to think.
Were they nervous when they mic'd you up?
They didn't mic me up, but that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you nervous like passing the camera?
Yeah. And
really?
Also what's really funny is like they can cut you out of things, right? So like I would be like
they take a lot of footage and I'm pretty
right. So I'd be like I'm like this waiting to not go across the camera. They're like just go, and I was like, what do you mean?
yeah.
But imagine me there like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, just walk across. We'll cut it out. I was like, oh okay. But like the whole time it took me to ask to walk across, I could have just walked across and they would have just cut it out.
Yeah. I'm like super hard on myself on camera. And especially with this that we have like so many hours of content like recorded already. It's like I'm always picking up mannerisms that I do. Like the first episode, even though it was great, that was my favorite one. Like I kept touching my face.
Yeah.
You know? Like I was like doing this a lot for some reason. I don't know why. And then like if I try to fill in the spaces with words, I'll say, do you know what I mean? And then like I count how many times I say that like throughout an episode.
Well, you don't need to be so hard on yourself.
I just feel like people don't notice, but like you notice. And I feel like that's kind of how like you make your craft perfect. You know? Yeah. And that's kind of like what I'm doing with this.
Being real is also important.
Being real, yeah, but like maybe not touching my face the entire time.
Yeah.
You know, like this is I'm not acting.
It? Like, well, are you Italian?
Yeah. I'm like a mix of
like my whole family just will sit at the table like this. It's super weird. We all touch.
You see? It's like a 1950s guy.
Like just like with their hands.
Yeah. No, I don't know why I was doing it. I was also like hitting my vape a lot. You know, wearing sunglasses, hitting a vape, letting the audience know.
Wow, I bet that was such an image.
It's either I'm the coolest guy in the world or the biggest douchebag in the universe. You know,
I think we're gonna. I think with the vape and the sunglasses, we're going towards
the biggest
douchebag in the universe.
Yeah. This show
swigging Jack Daniels.
Oh my god, I love swigging Jack Daniels. This show goes in such a wild direction every week, and like I've been lucky to have like the realest people on here that are just unapologetically themselves. And I got such a nice message the other day on Instagram about like the mental health stuff we've been putting up. Like, wow, you really helped me, this and that. It was actually somebody I knew from my neighborhood.
Oh wow.
And he like reached out to me and shit like that. Like that to me is worth $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, actually helping somebody directly.
I think. And when I was at a crossroad too in my life, when I didn't know what to do, like that's kind of what brought me back to psychology. Is like I love events, I do, and it's so much fun. But like I want to be doing something
around others.
Yeah, and like that's
social. Like you don't want to be alone in your house because you just have your thoughts.
Right.
Yeah. Getting like, control of those thoughts is the most important.
Yes, you know? And I think that knowing that in some way and not that I'm not impacting. I can impact with events. I can.
Yeah.
But not in the same sense of like I'm helping right now with my job. I'm helping people that a lot of society does really not want to help. because there's
which is not right.
Right, and
it's not government funded either. Like these people probably have insurance, no, and like if they didn't,
some of it is government funded. It depends, but it's people chronic. It's chronic. People that never really are even given the chance, I guess.
That's disgusting, and like sometimes I'm walking around like Manhattan, I'll see somebody screaming in the middle of the street. And if I'm with people, the first thought is, oh, let's get away from this crazy fuck. Like, he's out of his mind. He's this and that. And then the first thought that enters my head is like, Jesus Christ, what is that guy going through in his head right now? And why is nobody helping him?
Must be awful to be in there.
And why is he homeless? And why is he in the street? And why isn't the government helping them? It happens with a lot of, like, veterans, too.
Yes.
Which is insane. Think about, like, you going to fight for this country, right? You risk it all. You go to fight for this country. You see some wild things. You come back home. Your country doesn't have your back. You're homeless in the streets of Manhattan. That's insane.
And they say they have the VA, but that doesn't really help anybody.
That's the hospital. They could sleep there for a night and then they go back on the street the next day.
It's not.
But
we
and
don't,
you don't house them. You don't house like a veteran. Like there's no.
No, because we don't. I believe as a country, we love to say these buzzwords.
To like make people believe in like they're whoever's running the show. But at the end of the day, it's like you just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's like they're almost not like human. The people that like run things, it's insane. Like you talk to them and it's like they're just robots.
Yeah, and in reality, like people next to you people that are in high regards in a lot of companies of mental illness. Like it's not like people don't.
They could like fix these in 2 seconds. So I have an example. I was actually listening to this on the Rogan podcast. I forgot exactly which major city it was, but I feel like the Chinese ambassador was coming to America just to visit like a certain city. And maybe it was San Francisco, San Diego, one of those messed up cities. And they cleaned up the homeless and like the streets in like a day. 1 day.
Yeah.
And then when he left, it went
makes us
right back to normal.
Yeah.
That is insane.
And like San Diego has a huge homeless population because of the weather. People can be homeless all year. When you think about it, they can be outside all year round. If all fails, like
I'll probably just go over there, to be honest.
To be homeless?
Maybe. I went down to Miami. I was at the Ultra Music Festival a long time ago when I was younger, and then like the homeless people were just hanging out, and they were so nice. They were the nicest people. Like New York homeless people, unfortunately, like because they're sick, I feel bad, but like they want to like
they want to fight you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Miami, they're like, hey, come hang out. You want a cigarette and a 40? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want a cigarette and a 40. You just spoke my language, brother. Give me that old English and that Newport.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's get that going.
But imagine being homeless in New York. It's not great.
No, especially now. Yeah. I was leaving Webster Hall. I'm a retired party boy. I was leaving Webster Hall.
Yeah, you are just all the... Ultra.
I had a time. But I was leaving Webster Hall, and it was like -5 degrees out. It was like the dead of winter time, and I was freezing with a coat on. And there was legit homeless people like sitting there with T-shirts.
Yeah. I just think we have to have the idea of like, no one's better than anybody. And I'm not saying that everyone deserves as much help, but you can't, the way I see it is you can't judge somebody because you don't know where you're gonna...
I completely agree.
You have no idea. If you told me that I would be probably in the worst state of my life 3 years ago, that I didn't think I'd make it out alive, and now I'm running a successful business, I wouldn't believe you. So had I not known that low, extreme low, I wouldn't be able to appreciate highs.
You have to like, you have to be rock bottom.
Rock bottom is
God shreds the most strongest people into pieces.
Pretty good place to start, though, when you think about it. Rock bottom is a good place to start. It's
because it's like whatever's up there, and I don't know if people are, believe in religion or energy, whatever's up there, but like whatever's up there shreds you into pieces, and it happened to me first. And then it's your job. The strongest people put themselves back together. Yeah. And
but you also have to have that support too. Like some people don't have meaning. You don't have to have the consistent support, but like I at least had when I left, I had a place to live. Some people don't have that. There's so many things that you don't realize
that you're blessed for.
You're very
advantages. Yeah, for sure.
That people don't have that. Yeah. So I think, and I was at my low. There are times where I really have these times, and I feel like I've probably talked to you about it, even Amanda too about it.
Yeah.
Where I thought I wouldn't make it out alive.
Yeah.
And now I'm being filmed on Housewives.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
You should
very...
be proud of yourself.
No, I'm extremely proud of myself, but it's very surreal at times where
It'll get you through the day.
Yeah.
You know, like you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And I'm sure every year for you it's a process. For me, it's a process.
Yes.
Like every year I'm kind of healing and healing. For me, what worked was dropping everybody, you know? Because unfortunately, like I was around a lot of bad people. And sometimes bad people, they could be the closest people to you.
Well, sometimes... Sometimes, I hate to say it, the trash takes itself out sometimes.
It's true. But you know what? Like also like the people that aren't in my life anymore.
I don't mean trash you know what I mean, but like...
Yeah, like the people I've been around over the past year, I would say, have been really good, actually. Even though, like, you know, they're not in my lives anymore. It's like those people, you know, did have a positive impact. You know, they were very kind and like family, friends, you know, whoever they were, you know, they were actually very nice people. So those people I'm grateful for. Sometimes people just naturally drop off, you know, and like it's always good when like people leave your lives and then like it's almost like you were the wrong one sometimes, because then you can kind of evaluate what you're doing wrong.
I agree.
You know, because we're not innocent all the time, you know, by any means. So it's kind of just taking those steps on a day-to-day basis.
I think there's a way to leave a situation, take accountability no matter what.
There is. Sometimes people are just abundantly wrong and they just did you wrong, so there's really no way around it.
Yeah,
you know, like your situation.
I'm more talking about that because I've had friends that also have done terrible things that I am no longer friends with them, and so, but it all happened the way it was supposed to. You know what I mean?
Things kind of
I'm more talking about the ones that have done you bad. I have plenty of people that I no longer am friends with. Nothing really happened. It was just that...
People just naturally drop off.
Yeah, nothing happened. I have a positive experience.
Yeah. Like, I just reconnected with my co-host. Shout out to Angelo. He just had a baby, so he's been busy with that, so it was hard for him to make it today.
Yeah.
But me and him, like, didn't speak for a while. You know, and it just happened. Like, shit happens. We're young, and sometimes you're a product of your time, and people just naturally drop off. But called him one day and reconnected, and now we're doing this. Now we're doing this together.
Friendships, though.
Yeah, he's one of those like that we don't like talk for a while, and then we just reconnect out of nowhere. There's a ton of love there. I love his family to death. They treated me like, you know, their own, and you know, he's just like, no matter what, like if there was something major that went down in his life, you know, and he called me, I'd be there in a heartbeat. If it's the same way, we don't have to speak for 2-3 years.
Yeah,
just one of those. You know?
I'm more talking about the people who have done you wrong, not, you know what I mean when I say that. I don't mean like the ones that you just fall apart with sometimes. Yeah. Well, luckily for him and me, we kind of stayed on the right path, and like opposed to some other people we were around. Not all of them. A lot of them are actually doing really well, you know. But you know, a lot of them aren't, and we kind of veered away from that side. You know, especially now that he has a child. I'm over here in like my self-help era, so we're kind of like in a good place right now. Your self-help era?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you do for that?
I have a routine, man. I'm like a man of routine. I don't let nobody break it. I don't let anybody fuck with my peace. Like right now, it's like you are not fucking with my peace. Like I wake up.
That's number one.
Yeah,
that's
like,
actually my number one thing.
And I don't like negativity. You know, and some days like I can be negative and be having a bad day, but sometimes I try to keep it to myself because I don't want to burden anybody with it.
Nothing.
But
no one will make me act out of character. That's my number one thing.
Yeah.
If
that I do a lot. Which I have to stop. I get a little...
So that is number one for me. If someone... Because I'm like a generally... Like, nothing really... Like, things piss me off, obviously, but it's mostly if I feel disrespected. It's not really...
Yeah. Well,
like, I'm not easily, like, pissed off, I guess, is the right... Is the way to describe it.
No, so if
someone makes me act out of character...
Gaslights?
Or like, completely. We'll be like, that never happened. It's like, I literally was just there.
Yeah.
I was
like,
there.
Let's stop fucking playing games.
Yeah. So if, to the point that I feel like elevated, because I'm very self-aware of what goes on and my triggers, I guess. If someone makes me feel that way, I don't need to be around them.
That's it. Drop them. Easy
It doesn't need to be a, like, big argument. It doesn't need to... It's
Do you know the iPhone has a block option? I utilize that all the time.
What's funny?
And you're not even going to be able to get a word in. I'll be like, go fuck yourself.
And then
I'll see like the 3 dots or whatever. I'll be like, blocked. How about that? You're not getting a word in. How about that?
You know what's funny, too, that I realized is I used to be not friends with everybody, but like I used to kind of...
want a bunch of people around
I would want people around me.
I was the same way.
I wanted approval. I really cared if people were mad at me.
Yeah.
I barely had a block list. on social media, and now mine is so long.
Yeah, mine's a storybook.
And I realized too, like, people, if you're friends with everybody, you're not.
That's just
you're not.
It's too much.
You gotta have haters in a sense. You're doing something right.
Yeah. Like, who the hell wants 1 million people around? Who has the money for that? It's like, oh, we have another birthday this weekend.
But even then, that means that you're just agreeable in a lot of ways to some things.
It's an insecurity thing that you just need company nonstop.
My block list is so long now. It's like the best.
I'm like solo right now. But yeah, like I said before, I'm in a routine. Like, I wake up, like I said, I do like my little ritual in the morning, and then I go to work, my regular job, and then, the days like with this podcast have been busy, so that adds a lot of substance into the day. I do my side work, I go to the gym, I go home, I cook myself dinner, and I watch something. And by that time, it's 10 o'clock at night. That's my day. And like, that is a peaceful day for me, and then if I get any texts or calls that bother me, I'm not gonna answer you, and I'm gonna block. I did it recently with somebody who was extremely close to me. Is that like called on some bullshit, stirred something up. I was like, watch this, ready? Blocked. It's so easy for you to do that, because if they're trying to like put you in a bad frame of mind, what the hell are you gonna give them?
Also, like, who has time?
No, and don't give them a voice. Remove the voice from those who do not deserve to have a voice in your life. People do not deserve to have a voice in your life. Take them out, remove them. It's very easy to do that. And if you're wrong, like, admit that you're wrong, but usually
take accountability for the parts that you've made or been a part of. But if they're like, I don't know, I really just don't understand if someone has time to cause drama at this point in their
Some
lives.
people are just so broken, like, internally, which I feel for those people. And if I could help them in any way, I would love to. But, like, they just feel like they need to make other people miserable to get them down to their level. It's just the way they are. It's like devil energy,
Oh, yeah.
And it's just bad
They thrive
energy.
off of it.
They do. And they like making other people upset. Like, I can't fathom, like, throughout a day, like, just saying, oh, I'm going to piss this person off and make them feel angry and upset about something. And if you're doing that, then you need help. Something's wrong with you. In a very positive way, I'm telling you that something's wrong with you if you're trying to do that.
You say it with a smile, too.
Yeah, because
something is wrong with you.
There is, like, in a very good way, and you need to look at yourself in the mirror, know? And just don't project your daily, like, whatever's going on bad in your life upon, like, the general public either. It's just...
Oh my God, that drives me nuts.
Just be a good person.
Rude.
Just be a good person. Wouldn't you want, like, at this age that we're at, like, to maybe make positive impacts in people's lives? Like, holy shit, that was a great experience. Thank you for that.
I mean, I would hope
I hate this person.
I leave people with a better than they were before. That's like the...
Correct. Because when you die, it's like, are you going to die with your money? Are you going to die with your business?
Yeah.
Are you going to die with monetary things? No, you're going to die with your reputation.
Yes.
That's it.
And how you made people feel.
Correct. It's like, oh, that kid lived with respect and loyalty, and then you're a positive blip in time.
He had a lot of tattoos, but man.
He just had a lot of gel in his hair and a lot of tattoos. Yeah. He was borderline douche, but he was kind of cool at the same time,
Yeah. But he was nice.
But he was a nice guy, somehow, some way. I always, like, had this, like, kind of morbid thought of, like...
Oh, God.
Let's not that morbid, but, like, if you were to die tomorrow and then everybody was at your funeral and you had to watch your funeral from above, like, how would you want that to go? And how big would you want the room to be full, or would you want the room to be empty? That's a good point. And then I feel like if you think about that, that kind of gives you a way in life to kind of proceed in the right direction, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, is just the people around you,
I would want people there that genuinely cared and showed me
if not, you're
love.
gonna want the shit out of them.
Yeah,
like the negative people.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Yeah, because people love to show up for, like, that shit.
I hate that
when they have relationship.
I know. That used to happen all the time.
Drives me nuts.
Where I used to live, and they used to just show up to make themselves. And the best is when they take pictures.
You're
taking pictures and putting it on Instagram. It's like, rest in peace, grandma. It's like, don't take a picture of that.
But even so, like, let's say you've never had a relationship with somebody, and then you're like, oh, I'm so sad.
People love the attention.
Yeah.
They love the attention. People make jokes that, like, I love the attention.
You're a Leo, though.
I can't stand it. I'm genuinely serious. I really don't like it. And they're like, oh, you love it. You love the attention. It's like, no. You think I love the attention. You're saying that to me. I didn't say that. I didn't say anything regarding that whatsoever. I didn't. I never made one. What comment have I ever made to you directly that says, oh my God, this kid loves the attention?
Well, no, it's not really the comment.
It's just the way I carry myself?
I don't know. You're
no,
a Leo.
But that's in your head. That's in all your heads. That's in all your head.
Yeah, I know. I'm speaking for other people right now. A little
Everybody's head. It's like you're making a backhanded compliment by saying, all right, this kid carries himself in a good way. But I don't like to like have the attention based off of me at all times. I don't like that. I didn't even have a personal Instagram before like this, the Intentionally Unintelligent one. I had no personal social media whatsoever. It's because I don't want the attention. I don't want people to like know exactly what I'm doing. I don't want to post myself. If you want to see me and you want to have a personal relationship, then we're gonna do so in person. But I don't need to be fake on social media. You know.
Well, I hate that. Drives me crazy too when people are.
Yeah, like I know your life is not as good as you're making it seem, and like you're flaunting like cars.
My favorite thing is just post memes that make me laugh, and I don't really give a shit. If
my whole timeline's been a lot of like motivational shit, and there's been some crazy ones that have been popping up. I love it actually. I'll sit down for like an hour. Amanda actually sends me like 100 of them too, which actually like helps me out throughout my day.
Yeah,
like good stuff, you know. Like Instagram is really good for like the motivational kind of self-help shit. Like some people put like really good content out there. That's what I've been like priding myself on. Like 1 week a little bit of funny, 1 week a little bit of something that'll help somebody. You know,
have to have a combination of both.
Yeah, people want to laugh and people want to be happy and people need help. I feel like if it can, social media can be used for that, then I feel like it would be a much better place. But people use it for spewing hate, and you're giving people that have a voice, people that don't deserve a voice.
Yeah, and I think it's the ability too that you can literally put whatever you want on it.
Sort of.
And
yeah.
But
it won't get out there if it's like insane. Actually, no, I think it does. Sometimes I'm on Twitter.
I don't know. Twitter is nuts. Twitter is
X. It's pretty crazy. I downloaded it for basketball, and then I had the presidential.
I don't go on Twitter.
I had the presidential debate, like fucking whatever, like on
they allow anything on that shit.
Yeah, I know. I saw like a death video the other day. I didn't watch it.
That's what I mean.
I watched it.
Okay. Thanks for the confession.
I did. I watched it. I did.
See, but that's not great for mental health.
And then I watched everything on that page. Because it's just right there in front of me.
It's just you can't stop.
I know. It's just,
Like, I'll put a show on and I forget, and I'm like, I'm just scrolling.
That's the one platform, though, that I don't have positivity on is, like, the X app. Because on Instagram and TikTok, it's all, like, good shit. I just want to see, like, a funny video, but, like, it's always, like, Conor McGregor telling me to stop being a pussy. And I just want to, like...
Maybe it's the people you're, following.
I don't think I really follow too many people. That's the one platform I haven't really put too much time into. Like Instagram, I'm trying to kind of get to where it needs to be.
Is Twitter even a thing anymore, I feel like?
It is. It is like, if it's for like, it's actually good for like information, but like it's uncensored. So I feel like a lot of stuff might not be real on there, like, even like sports shit, for example, like they're just lying on there directly and then getting like 10,000 views. Yeah, because you could just lie. There's no like really fact checking anymore. It's freedom of speech. I agree that people should have freedom of speech, but I feel like if you're just lying directly to like, and that's
what I mean in the sense that you could put anything on. There are things.
It's okay because me and you could differentiate what's bullshit and what's not because we're older. But like, what happens if a kid sees that?
Not even older. People our age still can't differentiate.
I know. People are fucking stupid. Huh?
It's not. It doesn't mean because we're older.
People are fucking stupid, man. I can't.
I don't think that's what it is.
Sometimes
I think it's capability of just...
I'll be in like public sometimes having a conversation with a random person. It could just be anywhere, a bar, whatever.
Oh, you talk to people? Random people?
Sometimes. Like when I was a bouncer, for example, like, people would like have a conversation with me and I'm just sitting there in my head and I'm like, you're so fucking stupid. Like, how are you this dumb?
You hide it well, though.
Yeah, like I'll be like, yeah, totally, you're right, yeah. And then in my back of my head, I'm like, you're so fucking dumb. I can't even take it,
Yeah,
don't be dumb, Like, let's be smart a little bit.
People be like, why don't you just go to a bar alone? I was like, why would I ever do that?
I'm going to go on vacation alone.
That's a good idea.
I'm definitely going to do it.
I will say it's not super safe for women, so...
No. No. I mean, for me, I feel like I'm going to be all right.
Yeah.
But that's
you're
one
fine.
That's one thing I've never done in my life, and I genuinely feel like I would have
That's a good idea.
And if I want to make friends, I'll make them, but I'm probably not going to. I'm going to eat like shrimp tacos by the pool and Modelo's. Drink a bunch.
That sounds great.
I know.
Yeah, you should definitely do that.
Why don't you just tell the audience where to find you on social media? Give us the handles.
It's at Cait CAITS _crew.
Okay.
My last name is not Crew.
It's not.
It's not.
It's Silk.
It's Silk. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically all I use. I definitely have to be better at social media.
Where do they book? They just get in touch with you via
there is a link in my bio for Honeybook. And I also have a website, caitscrew.com, where you can...
All right.
Where you can inquire there. So.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you want to high five it up?
I guess so.
It's a wrap.